Hey folks, Philip B-Man here. A bit of an unboxing video, I guess. I just got a delivery of my new uncapper over the winter. I was enticed by a promotion that Cohen had to trade in old uncappers on new, and I had two old ones that were both pretty old. And I said, would you take both of them as credit to a new? And they went for it. So here we are with the new one. And in that very brief time between when I got paid for last year's honey and things were great, and when I realized how crappy spring was going to be, I dipped my toe in a little further and ordered a new deboxer as well. So apparently it's all in here. So let's open it up and have a look. Ooh. Well, it's pretty shiny. So I'm always curious what innovations the machine has that that the old ones don't. My old machines had sort of on-the-fly upgrades that I'd seen in other beekeeping operations, and some of those are coming back. But let's have a look. First of all, this cam setup here, way more robust than the old ones. That looks like it's going to take some serious abuse. The old one's always bent here, and the bearings are always crap. Inside, the bars are now pretty solid. The pins at the end are probably the weak spot still, but that's not going to bend. The flip hold the frames on a separate bar, not just soldered onto the bolt. I don't know why no one thought of that a long time ago. I, of course, use the new style knives. On the side, a window, so you can see what's going on. Now those belts, I don't know about those, but those are those kind of do-it-yourself belts, but it'll last for a season or two. Seems to be some sort of tensioner there. I like how this is done so that the drive, I should have, those pulleys aren't side by side anymore. That was always a pain to service. A very robust drum here, a drum switch. And then this is my deboxer, and it's a bit of a assembly required setup. But overall, I would say significant improvements from the old. So we got to get that installed now. But I'm pleased with that. Now, if I'd known half my bees weren't going to make it to spring, I might have held off for a year or two more. But and the other thing is I've given up my redundancy, right? I've got one machine now. I used to have two. I spend every winter trying to get both of them back in working order, but I always was able to get through the season. Now I've got one, so it better be good. But things look good. So let's cut it loose and drop it in its spot. All right, first thing to do here is remove the old deboxer. It worked fine, but it's maybe served its time. I figured if I was installing a new uncapper, this would be the time to replace that. So I guess if anyone's looking for a deboxer, the way these things work is they have these. This would be the extra. It would go. Sorry, make sure I'm oriented right. Yep. This would mount on top of the arm of the uncapper, and this flap, the frame rests, or the top bars come up, lift the flap, and it falls down behind, and then the frames fall back down onto that, and then you push them in. So it's just that very simple mechanism and a pneumatic cylinder that pushes this tray up. This should lift off. And it does. Slides off. I'm just going to have a couple zip strips to cut before I can finish that up. I should have cut those first. But anyway, a couple, and then this pneumatic line will have to be disconnected. I see the new one has a fancy plug. That'll be sweet. And then we'll hook the new one, and then the new deboxer will go on last after the uncapper is on. While I got this apart, I'm gonna pressure wash this all up, make it pretty, and then we'll mount the new uncapper. Okay, we're going to drop it down. Okay, well, we'll have to do a little thinking on lining that up. I guess the next thing to do will be to put the deboxer on. The next thing to do will be to put the deboxer on so it lines up at the back here. The holes for the other machine, one is right here. One is pretty close. Probably this needs to go ahead a bit more. Oh, that's probably lined up right there. So, there she sits. There's the window on the future. I don't know if I have power here to just plug it in right now. There we go. Okay, well, you wouldn't want to let that run without checking, because this hose here was up against those bearings. And that should be out like this. And then ultimately, these get cut to fit into my hot water lines here. And then they gave me quite a bit of hose. I guess maybe they're thinking they're not sure which side you're going to connect. But the other side, you want to start with a long hose, and then every time you replace the clamp, you cut an inch of the hose off. And so over 10 years, your 3 feet of extra hose gets down to just barely enough. But one feature worth noting here, I'll pull this in a little closer, is these very large bearings. The old bearing mechanism was, I'm not even sure if you could grease the actual bearings or not. I think you could, but these things are a whole different level of durability than the old ones. So hopefully they're quieter and last longer. That whole cam setup looks to be, and again, that's what actually moves the knives. and looks like it's quite a bit more robust than the old setup. The drum switch also, now I don't know if this is a supply chain issue that they give me the one that's really meant to launch torpedoes on a battleship or not, but that's a whole scale different. It also looks like it has a good seal in it. The old ones would always fail because they'd get wet and then spark and stuff, so that's good. And as I was telling you before, these the frame bars quite a bit more robust. A lot of the rest looks pretty similar. A couple extra little bends and curves to probably add a little strength in just the right places. Overall, I'd say well done. And motors are sealed. So that's good. That was always a complaint of mine, that you had these open drip motors that on a machine you were washing down every day. Although, motor never quit on me, so I guess I'm complaining for nothing. But anyway, so there she sits. One of my big improvements for the year, and probably take me couple more hours to bolt the deboxer on and bolt this in and get everything lined up just perfect. But you know, it fit right down on the exact same frame as the old one, nice and tight. So you know, it specs out as expected. All right, that's my new uncapper. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day.